I've made a video about this in the past. I'm just going to make it again because I'm going to include some new concepts. Apostle Paul, he was not a sincere follower of Jesus. He was a masquerade. You can already tell he was a descendant of Esau by the way that he, because he was a Roman, even though he claimed that he's a Pharisee and also a follower of Jesus, you would think that he was a disciple. He hoarded 2/3 of the New Testament, spewing discord that came from the Roman Empire, planting seeds of confusion, lies, trying to hijack the Christian movement. Jesus himself was not a Christian the way that you see Christians doing things now. Jesus observed all the Hebrew holidays. Even when they were gathered, remember the disciples of Jesus, they were gathered in the upper room on the day of Pentecost. Because why? Because it was the season of the first, it was the festival of the first fruits. Look at Paul, the discord that he threw in the book of Romans. Yeah, how interesting! It's actually it's named Romans, where he talks about we are now under grace. We are no longer slaves to the law. Slaves to the law. A purported follower of Jesus Christ, writing the scriptures and calling the law of God enslaving, when God says the laws of the Lord are perfect, reviving the soul. What kind of what notes is he saying? This is discord when Paul shows up saying we are no longer slaves to the law, we are no longer under grace. Look at how many denominations came just from that one verse. One verse. You see, that's what a rogue agent does. They don't show up and start, heralding that, oh no, I'm against this. This is what I'm telling you to be true. A rogue agent will do 98% and even supersede in efficiency the ones who do that job. But there's that very perfectly timed mischief that they plant in there, which changes everything. Remember, they were persecuting the followers of Jesus. That's why they ended up killing Jesus himself. Because the Romans hated Jews. Then came Jesus from within the Jews, and the Jews started hating Jesus because he came with such authority. He spoke above the rabbis and the scribes and the... If you want to see, just go and visit the synagogue and see how they worship the rabbis. Imagine one of the people in that church rising up and starting to speak with authority above them. This day and age, imagine back then. That's why they ended up killing Jesus. They didn't like his authority. Then they called him a rebel because he wasn't bowing down to the bullying of the rabbis. So the Romans hated Jews, and now the Jews had a situation in their hands. They no longer had... It's not only the Romans there to worry about. Now here's Jesus among their own, causing a serious stir that's taken away their power and their pomp and their, So now the Romans and the Jews had a common enemy, that's Jesus Christ. Remember when Jesus prayed in John 17, he said, Father, I am praying that they may all be one. Do you really think Jesus was praying, oh, I'm praying that the Methodists and the Adventists and the um, Baptists may all be one? He was praying, I'm praying that the Jews and the Messianic Jews, the Jews who believe in Jesus, may be one. Because that is when the glory comes. Remember, even in Acts, is it 15, where it talks about when they were in one accord, then the Holy Spirit descended, it came upon them. Jesus is praying that the Jews and his followers would be one, because he specifies, he says, I'm not praying for the world, I am praying for these, and those who will believe in my report through their report. I am praying that they may all be one. The world has hated me, and as such it hates them, because they are not of the world as I am not of the world. And he says, I'm not praying that you take them out of the world, but I'm praying that you protect them from the evil one. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So now, the unction came yesterday that pray that they may all be one. This also refers to even some of Esau's descendants who will believe in the report, in Jesus Christ. Now God has poured out his spirit into the earth, and he has placed the call to return to the Torah. All of Abraham's descendants, biological descendants of Abraham, will respond. I know it for a fact. Some have already started to respond. Others are still thinking, But the awakening chords have been set in place in the spirit realm. And some are pioneers of the light bearer message. Others will join, and regardless of what point you are joining in the return to the Torah, obeying the message where God tells you, stop believing the lies that the Roman Council taught you. See, God is such a loving God. He has faithfully and patiently, lovingly sent word to his children, remove those idols from my house, remove those trees of Tammuz. It's there in the Bible that those Christmas trees are altars of Tammuz, those women weeping for Tammuz. God says, remove them from my house of worship. And when he asked me to start the house of redemption, he said, build for me a house where I will be respected, where I will be honored, and there will not be any, where there won't be any worship of Tammuz and the pagan idols. It was really sad. I mean, I was glad I'm always glad to serve God, but it was so sad because I personally know how many years he sent the word to say, please remove the idols. It was never his intent to say, oh, well, my children have failed me, they have abandoned me. And how many times God said, when I said, your children are, they're fighting, they're refusing to listen. He says, it's not you they've rejected, it's me. It is me they've rejected. So children of God, please do not follow the pagan practices of Christmas, Easter, New Year. I mean, yeah, even New Year. All of those are all holidays that are in the Gregorian calendar are pagan holidays. The only festivals that the children of God should observe are the ones that are in Leviticus chapter 23. God says, I change not. And he says, from one Sabbath to another, from one new moon to another, from one season to another. Is it a day, not Day of Atonement, but it's the Feast of Tabernacles. They will come on and worship me even on the Feast of the Tabernacles. These are the holidays God intends for his children to observe. Please download the Jewish calendar. and start to observe these, and you will see the Holy Spirit just loves being in your home. The Holy Spirit will make your home his dwelling place. God will tabernacle in your home. Wherever you are, your home will be a landing strip, or you yourself will be a landing strip for Jesus, for his Holy Spirit, for God himself when he's coming to take a tour around the earth, for his angels. Your home will be a landing strip for heaven's kingdom. Just start observing the the biblical holidays. The world refers to them as the Hebrew holidays because the world is anti-Semitic. The world is anti-Semitic, and all the Christians who don't observe the Jewish holidays are anti-Semitic. All of them, because they're what? They're following uh, the Roman code, which is an antichrist, really, that destroyed the first temple. They enacted the National Sunday Law in 312 AD, and at the end of time, when they do the 666, they're enacting another National Sunday Law. But this time, Jesus puts an end, once and for all. That will be done. That antichrist system will be done. But a lot of God's children who are trapped in that system will awaken to the truth, and they will come out, and they will be one with the Hebrew community, with the Christ conscious Hebrew, all the descendants of Abraham will all be one. While the world says, oh, there's going to be a falling away from the church, it's the lie that the Romans put in there, because they knew the prophecy. They said there'll be a falling away, but the prophecy, God says, I will gather all my children from all the four corners of the world, and they will return to worship me the way I taught their forefathers. They will return to the Torah worship. But what does the Roman Council write it down as in the Bible? They say, oh, there's going to be a falling away from the faith, making people afraid to break out of that fake worship system. You need to have a personal relationship with God. Let his Holy Spirit guide you. The time has come. It cannot wait. We cannot wait. The time has come. We must obey God and return to the true worship of the one and only true living God, the God of our father Abraham. You know what? We're living in great times. I'm really enjoying life. I'm really enjoying life walking with God. The Holy Spirit is my faithful guide. It's a time where so many of God's children come back home. Christ had to pull me from the dungeon too. He pulled me out of the darkness, where all clad in a Christian religion and everything, believing I was doing right. But once Christ pulls you out and you look and see the chants and the rhetoric, singing Christmas carols in church, that's worshiping the pagan God in the house of God. Children of God, please do better than that. We have to respect our God and give him the kind of worship that he calls us to do. Because the whole duty of man is to fear God and worship him, for that's the whole duty of man. If we're not worshiping him, then what is the duty? What's your duty? What is your duty if you're not worshiping God? Let's not worship the false gods. Let's return to the worship of the one and only true God.